Hey guys, welcome to the Lowdown Show. And in this video, I have another guest, and this is a new guest as well. And this is Brandon Draven from the KLB podcast and Facebook. And KLB stands for K-Babe. Oh, sorry, I just messed it up. Let me see here. So hard
Yeah,
to do.
Fabulous Lucha
There you
Brothers.
go. There you go. Fabulous Lucia Brothers.
It's
Yeah.
it's a, it's a hard name to get. Don't feel too bad about that. We just decided to make it hard so that people could always get tongue twisted and we could just laugh. So
Yeah. Because people probably laugh now. I should keep KLB, but hey, thanks
yeah.
for coming on my show.
Oh, thanks for having me, man. I can't wait to get some topics going here.
Yeah, yeah. Well, let me just start up to my listeners to how I found you guys out. So, obviously, I am a wrestling fan. Been a wrestling fan for a while as well, and I'm always looking at for new reviews and stuff. And I think I've known you guys for not a while, but 'cause I couldn't remember how I found your page. But this is what happened. So I guess the Royal Rumble with Ronda Rousey, the one she debuted. I
Hmm.
think like the first one, because I'm looking at different people on YouTube of hey, let me hear some more reviews, and I came upon Danny, right? Danny, your co-host from World of Beatdom.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's his YouTube, and you guys have like 3 hours of content. I'm like, oh whoa, let me check this dude out. And you were on there, and you guys were laughing, having a good time. And he mentioned, you guys really want to get real. We have a KLB page that got a little more, more content and a little more grittier, I guess. So that's how I
Yeah.
found out. I'm like, oh, okay, let me see what these guys are about. I like these guys. You're right. They're laughing, they're entertaining. So let me check out their website and their podcast. And yeah, long story short, man, I loved it, and I've been hooked ever since. And I got on the Facebook page. You guys got a cool Facebook page. You guys all come together and made me feel welcome. And
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It's been a great experience. We started the show way back in 2014. It was just me and Danny. What happened is that we were just talking about wrestling on the phone, just personal. And
yeah.
eventually, we were like, well, we have such a good time talking that let's record this and turn it into a podcast.
But I want to switch gears, and actually, we're going to be talking about movies because you're actually a movie buff. Because you did do a little bit of movie stuff at the beginning of your podcast.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I started in the movie business. I went to film
Oh,
school. Yeah, I live in Los Angeles, so
yes.
I went to film school and I got trained for that. And I worked on a couple movies. Low budget
Oh,
movies
wow.
mostly. Um, uh, I did that for about I don't know anywhere. I think like 8 years. I worked on a few television shows as well. And it was just something that I enjoyed doing when I was younger, and I was pursuing my own career. But then I kind of lost interest in it because there was a lot of politics involved. So I rerouted my career, and I'm doing something else. But yeah, no, it was a fun time, and just I'm a huge fan of just movies. That's why we have that whole jokes about cinephiles, on the as well. It's like there's people that just watch movies casually, and then there's people like me that are completely like obsessed and become nerds, and
Yes.
you know some would say I have psychological issues by how much I obsess over these things. But yeah, so that's the thing that I'm definitely a movie buff. Not so
Yeah.
much television though. Television, interestingly enough, I went about I don't know anywhere from 10 to 13 years without watching television other than Monday Night Raw and the wrestling,
Yeah.
because I just never. I don't know. There came a point in my life where I was so into movies that anytime I had any free time, that's what I was watching, and I didn't leave any room for a TV. So it wasn't until like the TV show Lost came out that I started going back into TV shows, and I ended up watching Lost, and then from there I started seeing other great shows, and then we had the what was known as the golden age of television, where we had all these great shows that were coming out back to back to back to back that that really put me in a good state of mind to watch television shows again. So yeah, so that's
Wow.
what I was doing. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's interesting because I kind of went the same path. I just watch wrestling and that's it. And then, I, obviously I've never watched TV for a while. I don't know. I got bored of it. I just watched the news. And yeah, I just started getting into it actually this year. So, you know,
What was the show that brought you back into TV? What was the show that you really really enjoyed?
oh man. Well, pretty much real recently, like The Mandalorian.
Yeah, The
Like the
Mandalorian was
Picard.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like Picard and stuff. It's just kind of like I'm a mark for like nostalgia. sometimes I don't know. I just stopped watching TV for so long, so I got out of the loop. So I remember stuff I used to watch back in the day. I'm like, hey, I remember this, I remember that, and they're rebooting all this stuff. So yeah, really, I was in a TV fan for a while, for a long time. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, Full House, whatever. And that was back in the '80s. And I was a kid.
Yeah, the TGIF lineup that we all love. Family Matters, Full House.
Yeah.
Dinosaurs, which had the
Oh
dinosaurs.
yeah, I remember that.
That show had the saddest, most like nihilistic ending of any show I've ever watched, because that show, in a lot of ways, it was marketed towards young adolescents, maybe even kids, because of the little baby. Did you ever see the last episode of that
No,
show?
I didn't. If I did, I probably forgot.
Well, spoiler alert, people, for those who haven't seen the show that's almost 30 years old.
Yep.
It's pretty much they're gonna get hit by the meteor. That's it. I mean, it's a family having dinner. You have the big husky dinosaur. I forget his name, but he was the lead, and the family, the mom and the baby. And of course the baby had the classic line of I'm the baby, and so so at the end they're just kind of having dinner, and then they see the big meteor coming, and then it just kind of shadows them, and that's the end of the show. It's very dark, and it just I don't know, but they did it in a time when television wasn't supposed to do that, because television was supposed to cheer everybody up and just gloss over some of the deeper issues. So at that time they went deep with it, and I'll never forget it. Just kind of weird as a kid to see that, but now as an adult I'm like, that's pretty cool. That they took that risk.
Yeah. Isn't that cool? Yeah, that's what fascinated me. She's kind of just going back to my old shows and nostalgia, and you look at it now, you're like, man, it was a totally different era. And then we mentioned off there, we'll talk about it, like the VHS era and stuff, recording. I was into recording almost everything.
Yeah, no, that was cool, man. That was cool, because the kids today would never understand. These damn post 87 kids will never understand that back in the day there was no streaming, there was no downloading. And that made movies more magical, because you had to seek them out. You had to either go to the video store where you were fighting, all the neighborhood kids for like the last copy of a Little Big League, or what was the one where Ed O'Neill was the coach of the football team? Was that Little Giants? Yeah, Little Giants.
Yeah, Little Giants. Yeah.
Little Giants, or anything like that. Even like the Coliseum videos of wrestling, like you would always have to just wait. So once you got the tape, you were committed to it, because you worked so hard to attain it, right? To rent it. And even like a favorite movie, like you would have to like sit there on the TV and make your own copies, because back in the day, videotapes were like $70, because at that time they were not to be sold to consumers just to have at their house. So they were only to be sold to video stores. So if you wanted that tape to own it, you had to pay market retail that the video stores were paying, which was like $80 a tape.
Oh yeah, that's right, Blockbuster and all that.
Yeah, so the only way to get like shows that you really love, like movies that you really like, was to just stand by the television when they would play on TV, and you would put an empty cassette in there and just start recording the movie. And then if you really wanted to get creative, you could even edit out the commercials, or you could have it with the commercials. But it was a task just to have that movie. And then once the movie was over, you would get your empty tape. You would break the little slot. There was a little slot on the left-hand side.
Little tab.
Yeah, and then you would write down the name of the movie. Like I remember I recorded Rocky. There was like a Rocky marathon when I was a teenager, and I recorded all of them, Rocky 1 through like 5, and I just put all the names on there. And then that's it. And then you have it, so whenever you want to watch it, you could just watch that tape till you can't see shit. It's like, because eventually the tapes wear out, and that's how we used to get movies. And nowadays it's like everything's so accessible. I think people take it for granted when they just can see whatever movie they want to see, and they don't really pay attention. That search for the perfect movies no longer really exists anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I have kids and stuff, and I'm showing them the stuff I used to watch as a kid, and most of the conversations go like that guy dead? Because I'm like, like Arnold and stuff. I'm like, yeah, he's old now. I'll show him like old stuff, like Kindergarten Cop, which is the old stuff I like. He's telling him, hey, Dad used to watch it. And then some of the after you, well, he already dead. And they're like, what?
Right.
So they,
Right.
almost every movie they'd be like, oh yeah, he dead or he alive still. 'Cause they finally know, like, yeah, that's showing them a nose flick, and they might as well
So
ask if he's still alive or dead.
so let me ask you this: what's your favorite movie of all time?
Oh man, of all, shoot,
Is
well,
it Star Wars
Star
movie?
Wars, I would say Star Wars. Um, man, Star Wars, probably Star Wars. Star Wars
Well,
really
which
got me.
one though? Which one? Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back, A New
Uh,
Hope.
A New Hope. I would say it's Return of the Jedi and then A New Hope because
Really? So your favorite movie of all time?
it,
Remember?
yeah, well, it does have significant value because that's like the first movie I kind of watched to get into Star Wars. So
Yeah, but Return of the Jedi is that's not one a
not
lot of
that.
people choose.
Oh,
Usually
of
it's
all time. Yeah, no, yeah. Maybe I had to backtrack because I'm thinking just Star Wars. But if you're talking about every favorite movie of all time, it might not even be Star Wars. Yeah, that's a hard one, man. That's a, that's a hard one because I'm kind of like I like this movie for a long time. Avengers, but that's recent.
Well, that's a great movie though. Which Avengers? One, certainly not two, right? Because two is okay,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
one,
not the Ultron one. No. Oh man, probably the last two, either Endgame or Infinity Wars.
oh yeah, those were great. Yeah. No, I wouldn't blame you for that, especially Endgame, which was like almost a damn near perfect movie in my eyes.
Yeah, yeah. That's always hard. I mean, yeah, you know, like for us, been here for so long. Like you gotta categorize what's your favorite movie, in your 80s, or it's like man, I can't think. But
Yeah,
I can't Return of the Jedi. Because people ask me that on the Star Wars podcast. The only reason because my family, I was born in Thailand, and we were like a refugee,
right.
and so we escaped, and we moved to the United States in 1980, and we actually lived in the basement, and the sponsor, had us in the basement, and I would go upstairs, and I would get their VHS, and I grabbed Return of the Jedi. That's all. And I was like, what is this? And that's why I kind of, what do you call, have an emotional attachment to it.
That's totally understandable. That's a big emotional attachment. That's a good memory for you. I'm happy to have heard that. Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, yeah. And to go back to the recording stuff, yeah, I did all that. I recorded, I edited it. I did all that. These kids will never know, but yeah, all that stuff. Timer, put on a timer. Sometimes I run out of tape, and I got to record over my tape. Okay, well, which one? You know,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah. But yeah, let's talk movies. Like as in, it looks like you're a big horror fan. I mean,
Yeah, I love that. That's my first genre because I share a similar story like you, man. It's like my parents immigrated to this country from Mexico. I was born here, but
okay,
they immigrated here back in 19 I think it was around the same time, 1980.
80, okay,
So my parents, when they first got here, they didn't really speak any English. So they the movies that they liked were like movies that were very, very visually stimulating, like action movies, like the John Claude Van Damme movies, the Steven
yeah,
Seagal movies,
oh yeah,
or the horror movies, right? Because you don't really have to know the plot of a movie as long as you see the action scenes and the horror scenes. So that's the kind of movies that that was there when I was growing up. Now, how that affected me mentally later on in my life, I don't really know. But I mean, I turned out pretty okay, I guess.
yeah,
But yeah, I never had any restrictions, even since I was a little kid, because when my dad was gonna watch, that's what we were all gonna watch. And
yep,
if we wanted to watch a horror movie, we were all gonna watch a horror movie, regardless of our age.
yep,
So I have a lot of fond memories of that, and and um and so that's how I gravitated towards horror. And then later on, when I was kind of like a teenager, horror is very exotic, and it's that's the kind of stuff and that's the kind of stuff that teenagers will really get into, because it speaks to like being like this rebellious kid who like is not supposed to watch gore, or sex, and
yeah,
horror movies have all that. So that's really what I enjoy doing. And then from there, I just kind of got into it, and I've been following it ever since.
yeah, yeah. You know, I I am not that big of a horror fan, but I remember my memories too. As in, so my uncle every summer, my parents would drop me off at my uncle's house, and they lived in the hood. for 3 months. Okay, then I have school, and they would put out like Hellraiser and Poltergeist, and I would get to sit there and watch it at night. And then they would tell the story of Irona. Yeah, Irona. Yeah, that girl, whatever, the old lady Irona, like that's her name.
La
So
Llorona.
yeah. They would scare me. You could scare me. I'm like, oh man, why are you telling me? They go, oh well, I'm only 5 years old. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's pretty freaky. But yeah, but I did gravitate towards Freddy. Like, I guess I am more of a like kind of charismatic. I like that kind of stuff. So Freddy was cool. I really liked
Yeah.
him. I got
Yeah,
into him.
definitely. He was some of the movies are actually well made. Like Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, it's a really well made movie. It has like that combination of a good script, a good story, and it also has that like 80s aesthetic of like just whacked out, out of your mind violence and stuff. So you get a little combination of both. Whereas a lot of movies tend to be a little more cerebral, like a lot of horror movies tend to be a little more cerebral, and a lot of people don't like that because they want just like that exploitation, gore and stuff.
Yeah.
And then other movies like have no value, like no mental value for them. It's just nothing but gore and sex and violence. So
Yeah.
so so Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3 really give you both, like, and has good writing, good characters, and it's got so I think a lot of young people, they love that movie. Whereas Part 1 is a little more cerebral, and
I
the
love that
script,
one. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, and that was really actually scary. Whereas Part 3 is a little more comical at that point,
Yes.
because he's kind of doing the one-liners and stuff. So
Is that the one where his stomach and all his little baby Freddy started to come out or whatever? I remember
so
that.
that no,
That
that's
too.
Part 4. That's Part
Oh,
4.
oh man. Yeah. Yeah. There's
Yeah,
so many I watched. Yeah. But the
yeah. There's a
first one,
lot of
oh
them.
yeah.
So yeah,
Oh yeah, they had a TV show. Remember the TV show?
yeah. But the TV show wasn't that good. It was.
Yeah, no, it was kind of wacky.
Now, what was cool about the TV show was that the first episode, the pilot, it did have the origin story of Freddy Krueger. So the pilot episode
Oh,
is good because it's actually Robert Englund who plays
Gary
Freddy
England.
in the movies,
Yep.
and they show what happened to him when he got burned by the parents. Because Freddy Krueger used to be like a child molester, child killer,
Yes.
and eventually the parents got him. All the parents in Elm Street, they got him,
Yep.
and they ended up burning him
Burning
alive.
him. Yeah.
And while he's being burned, he makes a deal with these demons that actually they show
Oh.
in Freddy's Dead, the Final Nightmares, when they show that the story with the demons. And so the demons allowed him to go into the dream world and get revenge on all the parents by killing off all their kids, which is the whole point of Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah, I didn't know that they like did. Like, been a while. But I just remember the origin story in number one. The first. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because
Yeah.
because in the first one he's already kind of
He already. Yeah.
he's already infesting their dreams, and
Yeah.
he's killing the kids one by one, and we start to find out that the parents actually were the ones that killed Freddy, and that he's coming back to kill their kids in their dreams.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk about horror movies now. Actually, is Get Out a horror movie? I don't know.
Oh,
I
I would
saw that. I have it. I
no,
can't
no, I would consider it a horror movie. There's definitely some horror aspects to it, and the way he filmed that movie has like horror aesthetics to it. Yeah, it's definitely a horror movie.
Okay, I still watch it a little bit. But
Yeah.
what do you think about The Conjuring? I heard those were good with James Wan. I I heard those are like really good. Have you seen them or?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, the Conjurings they're pretty good movies. I mean, one thing about James Wan is that he knows how to stage. He really knows how to stage like horror scenes. He really knows how to
Yes.
scare you with the build up and the way that he frames a particular scene. And before you know it, you have a jump scare, and it's an earned jump
Wow.
scare, which is the difference between certain jump scares that are not earned, that are cheap. We call them cheap jump scares.
Yes.
And so yeah, the Conjuring movies are good as well, and the only thing with them is that they've definitely expanded on that universe, with different
Oh
movies. So
yeah, that's right. With the priest or whatever. We get the priest lady or whatever.
yeah, yeah.
We get yeah.
Well, they have like the Annabelle movies and all
Yes.
that stuff. So they all kind of sprung up from like the Conjuring.
Right. Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and let's see. I'm trying to think of a recent, horror movie like Halloween got rebooted, right? And Did Jason get rebooted? Not yet, huh? Or
No, no, there was a big
only
legal fight.
Halloween?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, only Halloween. Yeah, yeah, and which was a good movie. I really
Okay.
enjoyed that movie. Did you see it?
No, like I said, I'm not much. I will if if I'm really into the mood to horror, but I really haven't been.
Well,
I'll see it. You can see it though.
what's your favorite genre? I mean, what are you into?
Oh, right now, well, Star Wars kind of take a. Right now, Star Trek, I guess.
Yeah, but
Uh,
what was the last movie that you saw?
oh. Years or just what came out? I mean, I watch a lot of movies.
No,
Uh,
just what came out recently. I mean,
probably just the Avengers or man, what? I'm trying to think right before the the pandemic. Probably just Avengers. I was really into all that.
well, the Avengers was like over a year ago, though. I
So
mean,
yeah, yeah. I think
then
when I
they
was
have then they have Spider-Man Far From
okay,
Home.
okay, I watched that. Yeah, so I was into that.
Well, what did
Um,
you think of that?
Spider-Man Far From
Yeah,
Home. I think it was okay. It was good. You know, if Samuel Jackson was in it, I'd probably not like it as much. He
yeah.
was like the biggest selling part to that movie, and it did connect it a little bit.
Well, yeah, because I mean, it's kind of like the aftermath of the Endgame movie, right? Because they're having kind of like it's a big tribute to like all the people that died during the Endgame movie.
Yeah,
Uh, like Tony Stark's in it a lot, and well, not a lot, but he's in it in the beginning because they're having like a little tribute for him. Um, and then what do you think of Mysterio, like Jake Gyllenhaal, that whole thing?
yeah. I think it was cool. I mean, it's cool that he's like a kind of a magician and he obviously know all the tech and he works his shoot. So it was cool how they integrated it. I thought he was pretty good actually. I
Yeah, no,
thought he was kind
I
of corny,
really,
but it was good.
no, I really enjoyed that movie. And then Jake Gyllenhaal is the type of actor that's always gonna kind of upgrade a mediocre script, because he really added a lot of layers to that character. Once it was discovered that, he was like he was making it all up or whatever with the technology. I thought his performance really gave more layers to the character that were not on the script. It was just him just being a good actor that was able to bring more to that movie, and it helped because the movie is more memorable because of him. So yeah, it was. I really enjoyed it. And what about this year? What about for streaming? What have you watched as far as streaming? Like any
Uh,
movies that you watched on your TV, just renting them, or like on Netflix or anything like that?
yeah. Well, right now, like I was posting on the Facebook page. Oh yeah, thanks again for opening up the Facebook page to put movies on there now.
Yeah.
And then me put on there. I was like, oh man, you know, it's really Scott, I guess, cause that Raised by Wolves came out. I'm not sure you saw that series yet.
No,
And
I
I
haven't.
okay, but I had to go back and watch like Prometheus and Alien Covenant. So those are my recent ones. Really.
Is that connected to the Alien universe, Raised by Wolves?
No, no, but people were making a big fuss like, hey, that alien looks like from Raised by Wolves. But the director and even really Scott said no, that had nothing to do with it. But I just want to know what the big fuss about. But it's not connected. But I
Okay.
figured I better watch these movies just to watch it, just in case it is connected.
No, definitely. Yeah, you do want to have a little reference point to go
Yeah.
back to.
I'm looking at my Facebook or YouTube. I guess Mulan. I saw that. I mean,
And how was it? I haven't seen that one.
it was good. I never even seen the original, so maybe that helped me out. I know a lot of people bashed it because they're like, that's not my Mulan cartoon, but I never even seen the cartoon, so maybe it helped me out. I thought it was okay. It was just mediocre. They did some cool stuff.
I gotta check it out. I gotta check
Yeah,
it out.
it's not a big plus. It's not the greatest movie or nothing, but yeah, I'm trying to think. How about Bill and Ted the X-Men or Face the Music? I saw that.
And what did you think of that?
I thought it was good. I thought it was really, you know, I thought it was really cool to see those old guys come back. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think Keanu Reeves looks better with the beard. I think he looks
Yeah.
somehow he looks younger with the beard than fully shaved because you could
Yeah.
see that he's like a 50-plus-year-old guy with when he's fully shaved, and when he has the beard, I guess because he just comes off as this cool motherfucker. Like you can't
Oh
really
yeah.
tell that he's that old.
Yeah.
Um,
I want to get into the what they get that franchise he has.
John Wick.
Yeah, John Wick. I haven't yet. There's just so many stuff I want to get into, but I'm kind of like a completist. Like I don't want to just watch a movie. If I'm gonna commit to it, I'm gonna watch all the movies. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
a good series. That's a good series. It definitely. I don't think they were expecting it to get as popular as it did, because there's this. There's this. The movies you could tell were not made with that in mind, but they just kind of blew up, and he just kind of going along for the ride. But he's also got a new Matrix movie coming out next year, so
Oh yeah, I think I
he's,
heard about
def-
it. Yeah,
he's definitely been busy.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's so hard because I'm doing stuff on my channel, and I should watch movies. I guess whatever comes to my mind, whatever whatever floats my boat. I guess, you know,
Yeah,
it's kind of how I did my YouTube. It's just a small YouTube channel, and yeah, I used to start it off and I was trying to watch every movie, but now it's just like, oh, screw it. I'll watch what I want to watch, and people like it, they like it, and I'll review what I want to review, you know.
right. No,
Eh,
that makes
Yeah,
sense, man. That makes sense.
I mean, if you, I mean, you guys, definitely inspire me as well. Like, hey, man, don't worry about numbers. Don't worry. Just you like it, you like it. You want to talk about it, talk about it. And have fun. As long as you're having fun, and you know,
Yeah. No, yeah, that makes all the sense in the world.
yeah, yeah. I mean, so what movies are you looking forward to? Thinking of Halloween. I know you got some. Oh, you were talking about that Shutter with all those horror movies in there. I was interested in that. That.
Yeah, they have some good stuff in there. They had like for people that are fans of like anthology movies, they have some good stuff there.
Okay.
Um, like like they have this movie called the Mortuary Collection that's like really fun and good, and they have another movie called the Cleansing Hour, which is pretty good, which is about this like charlatan priest who like he's kind of like a con artist, but eventually he kind of meets like a real demon. So I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to give these movies
Okay.
away, but that's a pretty good movie as well. I really had a good time watching it. Of course they have that movie Host, which is a short movie,
Hmm.
but it took all the horror community by storm because everybody fell in love with it. And
Oh
it is
wow.
actually it's like a real scary movie. So for the people that never seen Host, it's on Shutter. And thank me later. If you want to get a good scare, you're gonna get a good scare. What else do they have? They have a cool movie called Beach House that's very atmospheric and you know it's a pretty good story. Um, Very creepy, very like you could have the sense of dread around you, which is what I like. Um, so yeah, so Shutter definitely has some good movies in there, and it's totally worth. It's like $4 or $5 a month, and you get you get this library of like this curated collection just for you, and they have old movies there, they have new movies, they have exclusives, and they have some good television shows as well. So yeah, it's definitely worth it. The people that are into like horror movies.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I'll definitely. I think I'm gonna try to check it out. There are some people here that at my house they like to watch horror movies and stuff, and they should watch it
Yeah,
on TV. And. But I'm definitely trying to check that out. But I want to talk a little bit again about your college in the cinema. Cause I actually went to college too. I wanted to be a filmmaker. I only made it 3 years. I did script writing, I did filmmaking, but then I took another path, obviously, and things happened. You know how it works. But I was really interested. And even my teacher in high school was like, "You got to move to California, get connections." But obviously, I was only 18 years old. I'm like,
yeah.
oh well. But now the YouTube is kind of like my now it's just my outlet now. Hey, I can do my own thing. I can meet people. Yeah, so I mean, obviously technology and everything is just kind of crazy.
It
It's
makes
almost,
everything easier, definitely.
yeah. I mean, we're interacting now. You know what I mean? Like that's why I like you guys so much. And I'm like, oh man, can I get a hold of these guys? And, you know what I mean? And now we can talk and we can shoot the breeze
Yeah.
or whatever. But yeah, so what? So you completed? You said you made some movies or low budget movies.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was like I said, it was like maybe like 15 years ago.
Okay.
Um, we just like I was gonna pursue my passion, and actually my passion is writing. That's really what I love.
Nice.
And growing up with no avenues to get into the business, I decided, well, I don't know how to become a successful writer. So the best thing I could do is just try to learn how to make movies, and then through that, I could write my own movies. Right, that was the goal. and so I went to film school for that. And the thing about me is that I never really found in love with the art of making a movie, because it's very tiring, and it's expensive, it's tiring, it's draining. It hits you in all levels, physically, mentally, emotionally. And if you really don't love the project, then you're gonna be suffering for it, because it takes a lot out of you. And I started to realize that in my career. That's why I'm not in it anymore. And so, but before that, we got to work on a few movies. I got to do one my own. Um,
Nice.
it was about 2009, um, called Punished, which was about a girl that was she was like mentally disturbed, and some bullies try to. It was a very simplistic story. It was just for me to kind of hone my craft as far as being a director. And so it was she was getting bullied at school, and I did change it to like make it like into a college setting. It wasn't high school like you would see in a typical movie of this kind. And it turns out that she was like a sociopath, right? And so she comes back and she takes revenge on everybody. And so that was the movie. And then I got to do a lot of shorts, a lot of short films,
Oh wow.
just in the horror genre, because that was the easiest thing, because you don't really have to have good actors. You just have to have good props, and you could base it around the props. Because what's difficult is to actually get good actors when you have no money. So if you
Yeah.
know how to, if you could write a simple story and get some decent actors that will do it for free, but base it around gags and stuff like that, then you'll have a semi decent product. So that's what I did. And so we did. There was this other movie with a short film that we did about this guy, this radio DJ who was like this atheist, who would convince people not to believe in God, that God's this and God's that. And then what happens in the middle of the night one night is that there's somebody fucking with him in the airwaves. And I decided to make it very atmospheric, so it was just one shoot of like in a studio that I created in like my bedroom, one of my spare bedrooms here.
Yeah.
And um and um and, and it was like, well, let's just make it really spooky. My whole idea with that short film was that I wanted to like creep people out while they're watching it. So we use very limited lighting. It was very neon. Like we put some neon lights in there, and it was like this guy kept on calling this DJ, right? He kept on calling
Right.
him, and he kept on fucking with him, and he was like, by the end of the day, you're gonna believe in God. And then the DJ was like, come on, get out of here. And then this guy on the voice on the other side of the airways would be like, you want to see something crazy, man? I'm gonna turn your show off right now. And then this DJ was like, you can't do that, man. You're some guy calling from a basement somewhere in your mom's house. And sure enough, he turns off all the lights in the DJ's house. Like he just does it. All the lights go off, and the DJ kind of freaks out. And then it escalates from there, and it gets more and more scary as the story's progressing. And it turns out that this caller, see, one another thing too that's a good gag is that this caller keeps on switching his voice,
Uh-huh.
because
Okay.
he goes from talking like a man to talking like a little kid to talking like a woman, like a grandma. And so it starts, again, it's all about creeping people out, right? So at the end of the short, it turns out that this guy is so scared, the DJ, that he starts praying to God to help him. So at the end of the day, the demon did help, did convince this DJ to believe in God, because at the end of the day, if you don't believe in God, then you don't believe in the devil, and thus the devil can't exist. So that was one of the other stories that I did, and it was pretty cool. Um, so yeah, so I did a lot of that stuff, but then like I said, I just got tired of it, and I I haven't been doing it for about 10 years now, since 2010. So it was a good, I feel like I'm better just kind of rooting on other people to make movies, and I'm just happy to see what they've made. So yeah,
Yeah.
so that's the story.
Oh wow. Yeah. It is so crazy how familiar or similar we are. 'Cause me too. Like I love writing, and I remember back in the fourth grade and stuff, I would be picked for the teachers to read my story. They're just like, 'cause they always pick one guy, and then they're like, well, that looks like a very good story. And even in script writing, I even had people pop, clap at the end. I
Yeah.
don't know why. Maybe it's my wacky story, but
Yeah.
I had a knack. For some reason, I just go in, just like you, just write it, and then just hand in the paper, and I get picked. Like, man, you guys want to know how to write like this. I'm like, what? You know, why you want, why you want to try to, tell my story? So I know I had a little bit of talent, and like I said, I'm kind of on your side now. I just root people on. Like people ask me about spoilers. I love, I won't spoil a movie for other people, but I love being spoiled a movie for myself. And then I can watch the movie. I feel like I'm living vicariously through the producer, the film writer, and then I can see on the screen, like, okay, here's the scene. Let's see what happens. Like I already read, That's how I.
Yeah. Right.
So I'm kind of like that, It's kind of like, you know, maybe one day I'll make a movie. Maybe, maybe. But right now, it's like this is the way I.
That's the thing. That's the thing that I like to tell everybody else is that it's never too late. There's no timeline here in this life. I mean, we've had filmmakers who have started making movies at 40, 41, even 42, even 45, even 50. There's absolutely no reason why, if this is your passion, you shouldn't pursue it. I mean, all it takes is a pen and paper and a little imagination, and you're good to go. And if you want to go deeper than that, then you save a little money, and people start sharing your vision with other people, and people will believe in you and they'll help you out. Start putting yourself in situations where you're going to be with other creative people, other filmmakers. If you have to go back to film school, then go back to film school, because there's a lot of people there that want to make movies and they need a crew, and then you could volunteer for their movies, and then later on they could help you out with your movies. So it's all about networking and stuff, but it's never too late. This idea that you're too old to chase your dream is a bogus one, and it's something that people put in their own head just because out of fear of actually pursuing their dream. So it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? It's like, well, I'm already 45. I never made my movie. Oh well, I always wanted to make it. No, there's no oh well. You could still go ahead and make it. You could still try and at least live your dream. And at the very least, if you don't succeed, then at least you tried. And when you're old, when you're 75, 80 years old, you're always gonna remember to that time where it's like, you know what, I tried, and that's all I wanted to do. Remember, folks, winning is trying. You win when you try. You don't win when you succeed is special, and that's what we all want. But the actual victory comes in that first step. Don't ever forget that. So if people want to make movies, they should be able to make movies. And at least pursue that. So that's how I think.
Yeah, no, that's a good word. No, I completely agree. I mean, we're talking off air stuff, and like I said, I'm getting back into the media and stuff, and I had my YouTube page for a while, but I didn't really, my goal this year was to get some more subscribers and do some collaboration, and then I was kind of like, well, I needed to go with the philosophy of ask, you gotta ask, hey, maybe that guy would be cool to come on, or maybe can I go on that guy? If you don't ask, you'll never know, right? And like you said, you already lost. If you don't even ask.
That's right. If you don't try, you've already lost.
Yeah, what's wrong with rejection? Oh well, okay. But if you don't even you think about it, and you don't put it to fruition, then well, you already pretty much, like you said, self prophecy. Well, you already failed. It's just ask. Not.
Yeah, there is no fail when you ask, because you ask, you tried.
Yeah.
If you don't ask, you're never gonna get whoever you want on. So therefore, you've already failed. So you have to at least try.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. If we wrap it down a little bit here. Yeah. Is there any other experiences or anything you want to share about the movie industry? Any kind
No,
of or any news that you heard? Any big news? I know we got a pandemic going on, so not really much going on.
No, there's a lot of these film companies had to shut down for the pandemic, and even in restarting back up, they have so many provisions on them to be able to restart production that a lot of them just can't do it. I mean, they have to keep social distancing. There's so many little things here and there, because to make a movie or a television show, it takes a big crew. So if you're not allowed to be in an environment where you could be together, then that's going to create a problem. So right now, a lot of these shows and movies are having a hard time making content for that reason. But yeah, as far as that's what's going on there. As far as some of the other stories, I mean, just I've gotten to meet some celebrities here and there, but I was never the type that I was never the type that got into taking pictures with them, because I don't know, I just never saw celebrities that way.
Yeah.
But there's been some good stories, that I've been at parties with celebrities, and so that's pretty cool. And so that's pretty much it, man. It's been a good time. But again, this is like I'm in another world now. I'm just like in another mindset.
Yes, yes. Actually, I saw your Facebook. I was scrolling down there. You met Whoopi Goldberg, or was that
Well,
or
I've met her
took a
before,
picture?
yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's all. I was like, oh, whoa. But
Yeah, well,
basically,
there's so many of them, I mean, it's
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
because like I said, just living in LA too, like
Oh, yeah,
uh,
you're in there, yeah.
yeah, sometimes they'll be eating like two tables away from you and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool, Even like in wrestling, I've been able to meet all my heroes as well.
Nice,
So that's another thing that's pretty cool.
nice. I just met Kirk Cameron in
Well,
movies.
that's
He was
pretty
like,
cool.
you know what I'm saying? I did a little evangelism. He had to like wear the mask and stuff. And then, yeah, I went to a couple, what do you call it, boot camps or conventions.
I think he lives over there in the Arizona area, right?
What? Are you serious? No, I didn't know anything about Kirk Cameron. Live in Arizona now?
Well, yeah, I think so. Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm
Yeah, I
not
don't.
sure though.
I don't.
I'm
Yeah, I
not.
don't know.
I'm not. I'm not Kirk Cameron's biographer, so I wasn't. I'm not 100% sure on that.
Yeah, definitely plug in how we can get a hold of your content and stuff.
Okay, yeah, like I said, if you guys want to join us, if you guys are wrestling fans and you guys want to join us on Facebook, go to Facebook and go to groups and type in the KLB, and we'll let you into that group. And like I said, it's a good group of people, respectful. We just talk wrestling, we joke around, and that's
Yeah.
pretty much what we do. And then our podcast, the K Fabulous Lucha Brothers, you go to iTunes, and that's where we're at. We're the KLB, the K Fabulous Lucha Brothers podcast, and we try to go weekly, but sometimes we get busy, so we go bi-weekly. But we got some good stuff coming out. We're gonna do our own draft episode coming pretty soon.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be fun. That means that me and Big D, we kind of draft our roster, and then we have a WrestleMania card after we draft our roster. So that's always fun. And so that's pretty much it. And then if you guys are into movies or wrestling, my Instagram is that boy lost in LA. You guys could kind of follow me there as well. So that's pretty much it. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, thanks for coming on the show, man. It was a pleasure, man. I mean, like I said, time to reach out and just talk to people that influenced me, and you never know, right? You never know.
That's right.
And now we're friends, and we can hang out more next time or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you guys again. Please subscribe and go to our Facebook pages and channels, and talk to you guys later. Bye.